Askreddit Asks, people sentenced in the 80s to 2000s. What modern world change shocked you the most?
I remember getting the bus years ago and this old bloke got on heading away from town center towards the more residential areas. Without a second thought he sparked up a cigar. One of the passengers told him you can't smoke on a bus. He apologized and quickly stubbed it out, but said he got discharged from prison that day. And when he went in you could smoke anywhere you wanted, so this was a massive culture shock to him.
You have been sentenced to 10 years for smoking on the bus. Aw fuck.
Anthony Ray Hinton described people walking around looking at down these things in their hands, phones, and amazingly not bumping into each other. Ow. On the day you were released, your best friend, Lester, who had visited you every single week for nearly 30 years, picked you up. You've been behind bars since 1985. So you got in his car. And what was the first thing you wanted to do? RH. Lester thought I'd want to get something decent to eat. But I wanted to go where they laid my mother's body. I see him messing with the radio dial. Then we start driving down the road. I heard this little white lady say, in 1/10 of a mile, turn right. I jumped and said, what the hell? Exclamation mark. Ow. You thought there was a white lady in the car? RH. Yes. And Lester's laughing so hard he has to pull over. He says, that's a GPS. When he explained what it does, it really hit me how long I'd been locked up. The world had changed.
Got a call from a woman filing a claim on some abandoned funds. I got all her information and then asked for an email address and she said, what's email? I keep hearing about it. But you gotta understand I've been in prison a long time.
I'm honestly surprised there aren't mandatory classes in prison that help keep people up to date on current events and technologies. It would go a long way to help ex-cons function normally in society once they get out. And isn't that the whole goal of the prison system?
Do you think they'd cover modern memes in UV?
Prisoner transfer I did one time for this man who was sentenced to life in 1968. And it's the first time he'd driven past the CN Tower in Toronto and he couldn't believe how tall it was. That and he was blown away by how many different car brands there were.
Fuck. 1968 is a long time.
Do you know what he was sentenced for? Also, I wouldn't be able to handle a life sentence then see all the progress made without me while being transferred. It would mess with me too much.
You have been sentenced to 10 years for smoking on the bus. Or fuck.
I can't believe you've done this.
My cousin's husband, that she married while he was serving 10 years beginning around 2008, wanted the first thing he did as a free man was to go to Hollywood Video and rent movies to watch with her. Then she blew his mind with Netflix. At least the idea of Netflix and chill wasn't far from his original plan. But he was shocked about there not being video stores anymore.
Without sounding disrespectful, what made her marry someone while they were serving time? Did she already know him? I'd imagine that would be a very difficult decision to commit yourself to someone you know you can't properly be with for 10 years. You don't have to answer if this question is too personal.
I'm guessing his mind isn't the only thing she blew that night.
No matter what year you go in, when you come out and stand on carpet for the first time is the most disturbing feeling.
Oh whoa, I felt this one. And darkness. Being able to be in 100% darkness, again, freaked me TF out for a while.
My uncle was in prison for 20 years and the first thing he said when he got to his mum's house was, whoa, I haven't felt carpet in years. It's so soft. Quote, and then proceeded to walk around barefoot for about 10 minutes just smooshing the carpet with his feet.
Knew a guy who was blown away by digital cameras. He had purchased an old, terrible one and couldn't get over how amazing it was.
Cameras truly have come a long way, and hear people on Instagram trying to find ~15 ~30 years old cameras for aesthetic.
Analog. It isn't just Instagram. Not throwing shade either. I love that aesthetic.
The retro aesthetic is in full swing.
I'm honestly surprised there aren't mandatory classes in prison that help keep people up to date on current events and technologies. It would go a long way to help ex-cons function normally in society once they get out. And isn't that the whole goal of the prison system?
Do you think they'd cover modern memes in UV?
Private prisons want you back. That's part of how they profit.
Not in the US as far as I can see as an outsider. To me it looks like the goal is punishment above all else.
I was talking to a lady who runs the education for a federal prison in Florida. She said when they start getting rambunctious or off topic, she mentions a new feature of the newest iPhone and all of a sudden they're very interested in what she has to say again.
That's pretty clever. I find this hilarious. It's like they're a bunch of high school students.
So I take it she's run out of new things to say?
I hired a guy that was released after 17 years, circa 2005. A week after he started working he bought a phone. He had a childlike wonder with push-to-talk and texting. A week later he was pissed off that he couldn't text his order into Hungry Howie's.
TBH. Valid thing to be pissed off about.
Wait, this guy is right. Why can't we text orders? Why you booing me? I'm right.
Do you think they'd cover modern memes in juvie?
Finally, a good idea on how to get community service hours.
Now I can't get the image of a super burly prison officer teaching kids in juvie about current memes out of my head. Memes 101. Dancing baby.
Because here's what would happen. Customer, 2 med PEPRN 16 wings THX Pizza Place. Thank you for your order. Our pizzas come in small 12 inches and large 15 inches. Which size did you want? Did you mean our spicy pepper delight deal or the pepperoni? Can I also please take your delivery address? Customer, NA Coke.
This made me irrationally angry.
This is so dead on it's not even funny.
A co-worker a few years ago had spent 10 years in jail. He got out right when Bluetooth headsets for phones were huge. He'd talk about all the random conversations he thought people were trying to have with him. And smartphones freaked him the hell out.
Well, tell him it's okay. I was confused a few times by those two. Once I thought a woman had a mental problem because she was talking to herself. Then she turned and I saw the earpiece.
Fuck. 1968 is a long time.
Especially in Canada. My dad was sentenced 8 years for manslaughter. He got off easy.
That would be like if my dad got locked up when he was 18. He just turned 69, yeah. That'd be a long time to be stuck in jail. Story time?
A friend said his dad's friend tried VR after about 30 years in prison for like second-degree murder or something and he got scared. Fell over and broke the headset.
It's ridiculous. Have an Oculus myself. I still remember when I was a lot younger and VR wasn't really a thing yet. I went to some school camp and we visited the university. They has a full room VR setup and there was a cart they pushed around with you walking around to hold all the cables. It was an insanely strange experience. Can't imagine doing that as an adult.
Removed.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day you amazing people.